From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
More foreign objects fly over Montana's skies. We'll have reaction from our leaders in Congress.
I don't know that it's China. We will find out later on.
Plus, a historic Harleton building burns to the ground.
I mean, it's gone. That's all there is to it.
And a troubling report on suicide in Native American communities. Good morning to you all and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Monday, February 13th. Lots to get to this morning, but first, a man is behind bars facing homicide charges for shooting and killing a man outside a Billings nightclub over the weekend. That shooting happened early Sunday morning around 1:30 a.m. in the parking lots of America's Wild West near Amend Park. Police say 18-year-old Xavier Buffalo pulled the trigger during a fight. The victim was taken to the hospital where he ultimately passed away. Buffalo is facing probable charges of deliberate homicide and tampering with evidence. A busy Sunday continued for police and into the evening. 3 people are now in jail for robbing Magic Diamond Casino on Main Street at gunpoint. According to this tweet from the Billings Police Department, the suspects led officers on a brief car chase. Thankfully, though, the incident ended peacefully around 7:30 last night and no one was hurt. Now we go to Harleton, where a fast-moving fire absolutely destroyed the historic Graves Hotel. You might have seen these images over the weekend. Longtime community members are taking this loss pretty hard as demolition crews knock down the few bricks still standing. Q2's Haley Monaco has more.
You can see behind me here what remains of the Graves Hotel, a historic building in Harleton. But after an early morning fire, it's left completely destroyed.
Oh my God, the Graves is on fire.
That was the thought of many Harleton residents Sunday morning when they realized where the large flames were coming from. Multiple fire departments arrived at the hotel trying to put out the flames.
We made it maybe 10 feet in before we had to use the hose to guide our way out because it was too enveloped in smoke and we couldn't make it.
Jack Thompson with the Wheatland County Fire Department says no one was injured and all 4 tenants made it out safely. He says the fire most likely started in the dining hall.
6 o'clock was when I first heard about it. My nephew came banging at the door and told us there was a fire at the grave, so we went out and stood in the street and saw the whole thing clearly and just watched it burn up.
69-year-old Janine Ferdine has lived in the town her entire life, and watching the old building burn was tragic for the lifelong resident.
It's just a sad, sad, devastating thing to this small town. It's iconic, it's beautiful, and it's pretty devastating.
And now the cleanup begins for the nearly 115-year-old building that was just recently renovated.
People travel through here just to look at the grave. It's a destination spot. This is a great loss for the city of Harlow.
The town's mayor, Paul Otten, shared his grief with the rest of the residents around.
I don't know how, we're never going to recuperate from it. It's gone. That's all there is to it.
A total historic loss for the town and all involved. In Harleton, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
We'll continue following the development with that fire. And the big game yesterday has lots of people talking. The Kansas City Chiefs and their fans are celebrating the team's 38-35 Super Bowl victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. It was the Chiefs' second Super Bowl win in 4 years. Kansas City has already released its plans for its championship parade, which will take place on Wednesday. Schools in the Kansas City metro have classes canceled to allow students and teachers to watch and participate. What did you think of the game, Miller?
Well, I went to bed at halftime. I thought it was a great game up to that. But I know Philadelphia was winning at that time, but I knew going to bed at that time, Kansas City's going to pull it out. And I had it by 7. I was close.
You had it by 7, yeah.
Yeah, and you had Philadelphia by 7.
I
so
did.
It was a close game. It was a good game. It really was.
Guess, but
we were both
stand by
we were both hoping it wasn't going to be a blowout.
Right.
So it turned out to be a good. Did you watch? Were you able to watch the whole?
I sort of watched like parts of it, and then I watched the halftime show.
Yeah, Rihanna.
Yeah.
And then she's
it was a good game. It was
another baby on the way.
Another baby on the way.
Like that,
what an announcement! Good for her.
Now what? Now well, let me get your opinion. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, so I can't say.
Yeah.
What did you think of the halftime show?
I thought it was great.
Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was a really good one. Yeah,
right.
It was a lot of fun.
Put on a good show there. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully your team won. Apologies to my pastor at Faith E. His team did not win.
Ooh.
My apologies. There's always next year.
Always next year, that's right.
Let's take a look at the mothership in the background on a milder than normal morning. In fact, we are, if we were to stop right now with that temperature of 40 degrees, we'd be a few degrees warmer than what our average daytime high is today. So it shows you another mild day on the way, but it doesn't last. It's going to be cooling down. Feels like 31 right now at the airport. Winds out of southwest at about 17, just had a gust of 26 here in Billings. A gust over 50 miles an hour along the Beartooth foothills, Livingston area. That will be an issue through at least at lunchtime today. Temperatures across the area, we got 20s, 30s, and 40s. Highs today, 40s and 50s, but we're going to see those clouds move in. Here in the lower elevations, if we see any precipitation today, it's going to be rain. And then the cold front comes in to transition to all snow, and we could see a good bit of snow tomorrow. We'll take a look at those totals, or what we think those totals will be, coming up here in just a bit.
All righty, Miller, thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of things in the sky, another foreign object flies over Montana. This time it was shot down before reaching the East Coast. But as Q2's Jackie Coffin reports, our elected officials are raising concerns over safety.
Another object in Montana skies. This one, shot down over Lake Huron in Michigan, is the third in 3 days, with objects shot down over the Canadian Yukon Saturday and off the coast of Alaska Friday. Tensions are already heightened after a suspect Chinese spy balloon was spotted over Billings at the beginning of February. And all of the Montana delegation is applying pressure to the Biden administration for more information. Senator Steve Daines and Congressmen Matt Rosendale and Ryan Zinke are all criticizing President Joe Biden and saying the U.S. military should have shot down the first balloon sooner. Sunday morning, Senator John Tester was on CBS Face the Nation discussing the situation.
But look, I got briefed both in open session and a classified session, and quite honestly, the military and intelligence community's explanation of what transpired with that balloon, I accept. Is it something that I would have done right out of the chute? No, I would have probably done it different, but that's not saying that I'm right or I'm wrong or they're right or they're wrong.
Right.
In the end, we ended up with a balloon that they've recovered, and they're going to take and put it back together and reverse engineer it, and we'll find out what they're up to, plus the information that was gathered while it came across the United States.
And answering a question many are left wondering, are the most recent objects also from China?
I don't know. I don't know that it's China. We will find out later on if, in fact, it was affiliated with the Chinese Communist government or not. But the bottom line is that I think we need to take these things seriously. I think the president and I think, more importantly, the military are taking them very, very seriously.
As you heard Senator Tester say, it's unclear if these latest objects were sent by China, but either way, it's fanning the flames on tense U.S.-China relations. This morning, reporter Joe St. George explains how this could lead to more lawmakers strongly considering a nationwide TikTok ban.
Walk down any street and you'll see it. People on their phones, but what exactly is being viewed?
Definitely Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is like really fast media.
TikTok, we'll do TikTok.
No surprise here, TikTok came up a lot during our informal poll. Around 90 million Americans use it.
I'm obsessed with my phone. I think TikTok is super easy to get obsessed with.
But should this social media site be banned in the United States? You may recall former President Trump signed an executive order back in 2020 to make that happen unless certain things took place. A federal judge ultimately blocked that order, and President Biden rescinded Mr. Trump's order when he took office. But the idea to ban it hasn't gone away, especially in Washington. Should the U.S. ban TikTok?
Absolutely.
That was Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida during an interview with Scripps News. In early February, Democratic Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado called for app stores to block it. At least 26 states already banned TikTok use on state-owned phones.
What's the concern with TikTok?
In short, it's China. TikTok is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. In 2021, a firm connected with the Chinese government obtained a small stake in the company. In Washington, that relationship has been met with concern over fear sensitive data might be shared, something TikTok denies.
Will a nationwide ban take place?
Well, the answer is unclear. While tensions remain high with China following the recent surveillance balloon controversy, and while some on Capitol Hill want to disengage from China further, all eyes right now are on the White House to see what a little-known government panel known as the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States decides. That group has been negotiating with TikTok for months.
TikTok is not the Chinese Communist Party. It's a private company.
But Professor Milton Mueller, who has studied internet policy at Georgia Tech for decades, says banning it has consequences. Other countries may be inspired to impose similar social media bans in the name of national security. The professor also believes a ban would violate the First Amendment.
Banning it is an incredible intervention in their right to freedom of expression. And I think you're going to see some kind of an agreement between TikTok and the U.S. government.
Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
The number of people crossing the U.S. southern border illegally has dropped to the lowest levels in nearly 2 years. Border Patrol made less than 130,000 apprehensions in January. That's down 42% from December. Officials say a new program that allows some migrants to apply for entry from their home countries is contributing to the drop in border crossings. Border Patrol continues to enforce Title 42, a Trump administration policy put in place to stop the spread of COVID-19. Native Americans are more likely to die by suicide than any other ethnic group. The troubling findings come from a new CDC report which looked at age, race, and ethnicity trends from 2018 to 2021. The adjusted suicide rate for Indigenous people was 26%, 7% higher than the next group. If you or somebody you know is struggling with mental health issues, you can reach out to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. And for people infected with COVID-19, Paxlovid is proving to be a lifesaver. A study at the University of Colorado finds the antiviral remains highly effective on Omicron variants. Researchers tracked 28,000 patients with risk factors and found Paxlovid significantly reduced rates of hospitalization and death. Before we take a break, it's time to meet this month's waiting child. MTN's Sean Wells introduces us to Patrick, the 14-year-old outdoorsman.
This month, a waiting child takes us to Kalispell to meet Patrick, a 14-year-old outdoor enthusiast who loves fishing, hiking, and helping others.
Pat, he's a good kid. He gets distracted sometimes, but he is well behaved, and he's helpful around the house. He enjoys going out there on the river, on the stream out back, and he enjoys just fishing. He catches pike, he catches perch.
A lot of times in the fall, he was fishing by himself till dark. I would have to go get him because he loves to fish, and he knows how to fish, so that's important. Well, he caught a big whitefish in October, jigging a jig and on Flathead River, so that was pretty cool. So again, he likes to be outside and not just on the video games, so that's good.
I enjoy fishing, hunting. I haven't had my hunter's ed yet though. I'm pretty serious about video games, but like not in the bad way. Like I love video games overall. They're pretty fun. I want a family like it's pretty loving, that has animals. I love animals, dogs including, sometimes cats. I'm looking for like, there's not too many other kids there. I mean, I like attention, but I also sometimes like to be left alone. No, I just want to be normal. Like I just feel right now, since I'm in group homes, like I just feel like that kid that's always being looked at. But then like if I'm in a normal family, like I feel like people will actually look at me and be like, oh, he's just that normal kid. Like, I want to be that kid that like people look up to and look at and see, oh, his family's pretty nice.
In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
To learn more about Patrick and other children awaiting adoption in Montana, visit ktvq.com and search Awaiting Child.